It's my feel-good breakfast show.
That's all right, Graham. The massive TB screening campaign is a 3-year campaign being undertaken by government to promote the prevention, screening and treatment for TB in South Africa. Now, the campaign announced during the World TB Day 2015 by Deputy President Cyril Ramphosa is a demonstration of government's commitment to ensure that TB is eradicated in our country.
Fellow South Africans, more people in South Africa die from tuberculosis than any other disease. On average, 40,000 South Africans die of TB every year. TB is transmitted in the air. This means we can all catch TB. We want every person to screen for TB at least once a year. The signs of TB are coughing for more than 2 weeks or for any other duration if you are HIV positive, having fever for more than 2 weeks, unexplained loss of weight, night sweats, fatigue among children. If you have any of these signs, go to your nearest clinic to be tested for TB. TB is curable and medication is free. Live a healthy lifestyle. Don't ever smoke. Join the massive TB screening campaign. South Africa, we can beat TB.
Well, joining us this morning to shed some light on the movement is Dr. Lindiwe Mvusi, Director of the TB Control and Management Cluster, or rather it is Dr. Sipho Nyati from USAID and Massive TB Screening Campaign Representative. Dr. Sipho Nyati, good morning. Welcome to Expresso.
Hey, good morning, Leigh-anne. How are you?
I'm very, very well, thank you. We're so honored to have you on our show this morning. Dr. Sipho, please can you tell us more about the Massive TB Screening Campaign and what it entails?
Okay, thanks, Leigh-anne. And I think you captured it really well in your summary, that it really is a response to the call by the Deputy President to actually screen 90% of the vulnerable community. So what this has happened is the world at large, through the Stop TB Partnership, has embarked on what's called the 90-90-90 campaign.
Yeah.
And what that is we want to screen 90% of the vulnerable communities, and I'll explain who those are. And those who are screened and are found to have tuberculosis, at least make sure that 90% of them are evaluated for TB. And if found to have TB, make sure that at least 90% of them are cured or are successfully treated from tuberculosis. So, I mean, this is the strategy which the country is using to address this epidemic.
That's quite encouraging. Now, I read here that in 2013, TB was reported to be the leading cause of death amongst young people infected with HIV. Now, has the perception that TB is incurable, has it changed over the last few years?
Well, I mean, that's precisely it, is we're responding to that concern that people feel like tuberculosis is not curable. So just to correct you maybe that TB is the leading cause of death amongst adults.
Yes.
So, you know, irrespective of whether you have HIV or not.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a serious concern, I think, to us and to the government at large.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what's been happening is we've been trying to get the message across that tuberculosis is curable, tuberculosis is preventable, and treatment is available at public health facilities at no cost to the client. So, I mean, this is what the massive screening campaign aims to really tell the communities out there.
That's wonderful, because that was going to be my next question. Where does one go for these screenings? Is it readily available? And you said that it's also free as well. How can people find out more information and exactly where they can go to get screened?
Okay, so the massive screening campaign will be conducting activations. So we'll be doing some road shows in different communities countrywide. And over and above that, we'll be having some PSAs on TV and on mass media, just to let people know about the signs and the symptoms of TB. So your community healthcare workers should be able to assist you to screen for tuberculosis. But again, all health facilities should be able to screen you for tuberculosis and evaluate you to see if you have it. And that way get you started on treatment. And once you're in treatment, make sure you stay the course of treatment to make sure that you're cured. Because the thing about tuberculosis is once you're cured, you prevent it from affecting other people around you as well. So that's why it's important that the South African community goes out there and makes sure that they get tested.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Nyati, for joining us on Expresso this morning. I do think that everything that you've said has helped really educate us, and it is a collective process. Every one of us needs to get involved, right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. And I mean, we do need the help of all our partners out there, people working on the ground and mass media as well, to educate the public that, listen, this is curable, and once you get tested, it's at no cost at you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sipho Nyati, on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, for joining us. Now, all you have to do is play your part and join the massive TB screening campaign by encouraging your community to know their TB status by being screened. You can help eradicate the stigma towards people who have TB in your community by leading through example and reminding others that TB is curable and screening and testing for TB is done for free.